Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Anon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
How do we know that you're really Amnon?
I am.
That you're not some deep fake AI generated personality?
I can be. A lot of others are, so.
That's true.
And Nick is here.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Welcome. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Yeah, happy holidays to everybody. That's right.
Happy holidays.
Oh, yeah. Don't sing that. Copyright claim.
Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, DudeInIT.com, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear.
By the way,
How many seconds of a copyrighted song are you allowed to sing before you get into trouble? Isn't there like a
None.
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 There's this fake limit of like 8 seconds or something. It's BS. It's not real.
So you have to sing it off key and in a different language.
I don't know. Even then, they probably will find something.
I will say, Amnon, as you mentioned, Tom Sinclair, who's currently experiencing some health stuff. So prayers for him and speedy recovery. So
yeah, I was wondering why I can't get a hold of him.
Yep, that is why. But good guy, very good guy. Can I start off the show?
You can definitely start off the show.
Did I talk about the laptop last week?
No.
Okay.
No, I saw it on Infection. Yeah. No, you did not.
So I let me get it pulled up here, the order. So I've been for quite some time looking for a cheap laptop to use in the in my living room for either casting things to the television or just being able to have like Twitter or something open when you're sitting on the couch. So I was looking at Chromebooks for a while, but Chromebooks are expensive. They're like $300, and not that $300 is a crazy amount of money, but $300 for a computer that doesn't run Windows and has 32 gigabytes of eMMC memory is like it's like that's not great. So I was on the phone with Amnon a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was browsing my favorite website in the world, which is Slick Deals, and I saw a link pop up for a Lenovo laptop, a Lenovo Ideapad 3, and there's actually 2 of them in stock. I don't know if you can. I'm not sure if they're available online or not. But this Lenovo Ideabook 3 is normally about $350. It's on sale for $150. And it's a full Windows 10 computer. Runs Windows 10. Spec wise, it's got a Intel Pentium Gold 6405U, which is a Q4 2019 processor. So the processor is about a year old. 4 gigabytes of DDR4 2400 megahertz memory, and 128 gigabytes of NVMe storage, which is M.2. So it's solid state, which is great. It does have a built-in webcam. Haven't tested that, and it's perfect. So I've had it now for about a week. It's running full. It comes out of the box running Windows 10 S, which is the tablet mode of Windows.
It's the restricted mode. You can only get apps off of the App Store.
Yep. So it's real simple. You just type in the search box, update or upgrade Windows, and it'll bring you to the Windows store. And you just click a button, and it just turns all the restrictions off. Um,
How much does it
it's
cost
nothing. It's free.
to turn off the S?
Yeah. Yeah. Windows S is free to turn off. It's just it's a built-in lockdown feature. It's free. Um,
I didn't realize it
so
was free.
yeah, it is free. Yeah, that's what's great about it. So it's a full version of it's Windows 10 Home. Um, it's port wise. It's got a micro SD card, a combo microphone, combo headphone jack, full size HDMI, which is cool, and then 3 USB ports as well as a power connector. No USB Type A, or excuse me, no USB Type C. But at $150, you can't really expect it. Um, the computer itself is pretty nice. It's a 10 keyless, so it's got no it's got no number pad on it. But it's still really nice. The screen is all right. It's not the brightest screen in the world. Speakers are a little, you know, a little less than you'd expect. But again, the main use of this thing was to have something in the living room to cast things to the TV with, and that works great. Built into Windows 10 is a mode called um, built into Windows 10 is a mode called Connect. And if you tap the little, and every Windows 10 computer has this, if you click the little notification bar in the bottom right hand corner of the taskbar, you can connect the screen wirelessly to supported displays, which includes Roku's and various versions of smart TVs. So I just simply click the connect button on here and it will cast the entire screen with audio to my Roku Ultra that I have in the living room. Then I can pull up anything in Firefox or Chrome, put it full screen, it'll send the audio and everything is dandy. So for 150 bucks, if you're looking for, now I'll warn you with this, it does not run Chrome well because Chrome is a resource hog and it eats all the memory. It runs Firefox fine. You've got to be careful with multi-tab use because again, it's only 4 GB of RAM and a slower processor, but it is a perfect um, web browsing casting device. I was just kind of sick of using my phone and having my phone tied up to um, share things to my screen. So
So
that's the Lenovo Ideapad 3.
so
I've
there's
always been a
no
big
way
fan of
to
Lenovo.
upgrade the memory?
There probably is, but it's
I mean,
not worth it. If
it's
you're going
it
to upgrade the memory, just buy a better computer.
but I mean, when you say be careful with tabs, it'll still work, but it'll be dog slow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it slows. I mean, if you have 5
Yeah,
or 6 tabs
yeah,
open, it'll
yeah,
start slugging down a little bit.
right,
Which is again, you have
yeah,
to know what you're buying.
right, yeah.
And I knew what I was buying, and for 150 bucks, it was kind of a no brainer.
So you're not
Right.
doing vaccine research on it?
No, I'm not doing any vaccine research on it. It's got great battery life. I've charged it one full time since I've had it for about a week. And it was at 20% when I plugged it in. So I'd say the battery life's probably anywhere between 6 and 8 hours. Um, and yeah, it's working, working pretty well. If you're looking for a cheap computer, again, know what you're getting before you get into it.
Know what you
This,
what you need it
well,
for.
yeah, know what you need and also know, manage your expectations.
Yeah.
With this. So yeah, this is the Lenovo Ideapad 3. I'm sure there's other computers like it in its price point. But it was a really good slick deals that popped up. So if you're
You
looking
can't.
for something,
You
it's still
literally in the
available
price
apparently.
range, you can't find anything better than Lenovo.
No, and the keyboard's all right. It takes a little bit of getting used to. But
I
yeah,
have several accounting customers that I've helped upgrade, and whenever they've asked for recommendations, I always
Spence, why are you
I
on the
don't
low side?
yeah, your
Huh?
microphone all of a sudden is a little low.
Why? Is that better?
Yeah.
No, I was maybe an inch further away from it.
Wow. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know, but whenever they've asked me, can I make recommendations on laptops, I always steer them first to Lenovo and see if you can pick up a deal. The X1 Carbon, the high end Ultrabooks are outstanding. And you pick this thing up and you think this can't last because it's too light, it's too flexible. And I've got customers now using them for many, many years, multiple generations of. I have an older, I think it's generation 5 one that I got used, and it still works great. Yeah, I really like them.
I don't mean to usurp. Usurp? Is that when you step in front of somebody or usurp you? I don't mean to usurp you, Spence, but I've got a deal that I just saw here.
Hmm.
An Amazon smart plug. These things are normally $25.
Yep.
If you go over to your A-word device and say A-word, order an Amazon smart plug. It will add it to your cart using the a promo deal, and it's only $5. They've got a 20% discount on it. So
good.
I just ordered one.
Are you limited to one?
I assume so. That's normally how it works. So yeah, that's normally how it works.
An Amazon smart plug, is that what? Do you have any idea what the
They
voltage
work.
or the wattage limitation is on it? It's like a 15
I do
amp?
not.
They work great for lights.
I-
We use them.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm not looking to use it for a compressor or anything like that. Yeah.
I think
I was
it's the
over at my
standard
daughter's
15
yesterday.
amps.
And she's got everything. She's got multiple vendors of smart home devices, bulbs and switches and all kinds of stuff in the house. But
Spence,
everything is all coordinated by what?
I have never seen a box, I mean, a smart plug like Amazon's that works. It's as easy to install and works so fast. It is like there's somebody on the other side doing it the minute they heard you.
They are. This every
It's-
Amazon
it's-
smart plug has
yeah.
a human being assigned to
No,
it.
seriously, it's
That's waiting.
really, really effective.
She's got
Yeah, they're nice.
Uh,
I've got 3 or 4 that are still in boxes that I haven't
Mhm.
opened yet, and they're just the $5. Now, again, if you're not in the Amazon ecosystem for this stuff, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you use A-word to do stuff for lights and whatnot, Amazon is running this deal right now. Last year, Amazon was at Best Buy. You
Yep.
could buy up to
Two-
3 for $5.
Yeah, and you
Um,
could buy multiples.
Yeah, I think the limit was 3 or 5, something like that.
It was 3, and you could. We ordered
yeah.
them like another time and another, and
Yeah.
then they said,
So
no.
if you're in the ecosystem, these plugs are, well, obviously they're the first party plugs. They're meant to work with the whole Amazon ecosystem. So if you use her to do your voice activation stuff, this is the best plug you can get for
Yep.
and for $5. It's not some crappy Chinese knockoff thing like ZY or whatever. I mean, this is
they're
this
good.
is
What are
the
you talking
OEM.
about? ZY
I mean, they're fine,
ZY
but at least you know you're getting and these are super easy to set up. You scan a QR code. You don't have to download another app and link it. It's first party integration. So
I personally used the Ho Chi Minh smart devices.
I use the Shi Bang Bang
That's it.
version.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, that's what they have it. I was going to say they're probably going to have it more of them before before Christmas for $5.
Keep buying them up for
Yep.
$5. It never hurts to have any.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah. Hey, Gal. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine. Just couldn't start the day.
What's the matter?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Just in general.
It's morning.
It is more. That's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah, but
There you go.
yeah, that's a good catch. Oh, so it's a slick deal.
It's not a slick deal. Well, I saw it on Slick Deals, but you have to order it through
Through
the
Echo,
device.
through the Echo.
Yes. So, you just have to order it through
I
there.
think it
which
was,
I literally just did as I was talking about it.
yeah,
and it's
it
gonna
was
be
the
here.
same thing with the
Best Buy.
Best Buy.
Yeah.
You had to do it
Yeah.
through the device.
It'll be here Saturday. So,
Yeah.
$5.34 with tax.
It'll be interesting if you try to order another one, if it'll let you.
It won't.
You
I
tried.
went through this
Okay.
last year. No, I mean, I'm not going to try, but it won't. It won't.
Yeah.
You
let
just
you-
need to change your voice.
No, you just need to, well, you can order them on multiple accounts. So, I mean, if
Use
you
a
have
different
multiple
voice.
Amazon accounts.
Yeah, it works nice. And you were talking about battery life on that laptop.
Yeah.
I have never seen such battery life from a phone on that phone that I got Kathy.
Whole new world for you, Amnon.
It is unbelievable. I mean, I think I put it on the charger Sunday of last week, and
You mean you're not using the
uh,
phone that takes 9-volt batteries anymore?
she's using
Military
it.
surplus.
She's
That's it.
using it occasionally. But it's on all the time. She answers it. She plays some games on it. She checks coupons on it. So it's being used. S- Thursday night, I said, "How much power is left on your phone?" And she said, "I don't know. Let me see. 88%. 5 days. It was still at 88%.
Well,
Um,
there's a couple reasons. First, if you're not traveling, one of the
Right.
most expensive resource things for the phone is when it's switching between cell towers.
Right.
And that is very expensive in terms of
Battery.
power consumption. So yeah, if you're not traveling with it, the GPS isn't constantly pinging. You're not constantly swapping between towers.
And I don't have a lot of familiarity with Android devices, but on your iPhone, if you turn off background refresh, every time you get an update to an app, sometimes they'll turn background refresh back on. So you got to stay on top of it, go in. I went in the other day after refreshing a bunch of apps, and 2/3 of them turned themselves back on. And I don't know why. I've never seen it that many before. I wondered why my phone was draining so fast. But go in and only leave background refresh on for the apps that you would like to have. Don't leave it on for apps you don't use on a regular basis. That drains the battery quick.
Yeah. So I'm really happy. Thanks, Gal. I mean, Gal is the one that said, "Oh wow, this is a great phone." I'm not. Kathy found it. I mean, looking.
What brand
But
was it again?
it's
Motorola, no?
Motorola Moto
Moto X.
G Power.
Well, there you go.
And I mean, it's amazing, and it's to buy it at like Best Buy, $179 or something like that. I mean, I did get one from me, but I don't know when I'll start using
2 or 3 years from now.
it.
and then say the battery life sucks.
Yeah, it's really nice. Nice.
I'm on the precipice of a new phone.
Yeah, but you're waiting for the 12.
Your toes are hanging over the edge.
Well, yeah. Well, the 12's already out. My father got the 12 Pro.
Yeah.
And I was torn between the 12 Pro or 12 Pro Max. And I held the 12 Pro yesterday, and it's literally the same size as my 8 Plus, and the screen is bigger because of the no bezel. So I think I'm not going to get the Max. I think it's going to be too big of a phone.
Well,
So
you
I
need to
think
go
I'm
to
gonna
the
just-
store and say how much a
Well,
difference. How much?
Well, I mean,
difference?
I'm this one is more than big enough.
No, how much
and-
difference is the price?
$200-300, something like
Yeah.
that. It's significant. But it's not about the price. The price is kind of irrelevant to it. The question is, I don't want this thing is hard enough to use one-handed anyway. It's very tough to reach.
Mhm.
I can't reach the other side of the phone with one hand.
You need to
So having an even
stretch-
larger
stretch
phone.
your
You
thumb.
didn't see the thumb extension you can buy?
Yeah, no, I
It's a
don't.
little
I don't
extra-
have that.
It adds like 2 inches onto the length of your thumb.
Yeah.
Little prosthetic.
Yeah, that's the other interesting thing is that Motorola phone is 6.4 inches screen. I guess that's diagonally. The old LG G3 was 4.7. So it's you can tell that it's bigger. I mean, it's longer. It's not much wider, but it's longer. And still, you can't put any more things on the screen. I wish they made it so you can change the size of the icons, not
You
drastically,
can.
not drastically.
No, you can. You just need to replace the launcher.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's a very simple thing. Yeah. And there's enough good launchers for free that you without ads and stuff that will still allow you to.
okay. Well, I didn't look into it. I mean, she did not complain, but I took mine out of the box and charged it, and I said,
Speaking of big screens, I stopped in at Costco and was walking. They have all the TVs out front when you walk through.
Yeah.
And they had a 65-inch television for under $500.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I mean, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was loaded with features. I don't know if it must be 4K. Everything's 4K, but right next door to it, you have the Ultra or whatever the latest new thing is, and it was $1,500. But a 65-inch TV for $498.
Yeah, back in July, I got my 55-inch Vizio for like 350
Yeah,
or
it's
something,
amazing.
4K. I mean, it's just incredible.
We a couple of weeks ago we got that TCL Roku 55, and it was 200 and 200 and some. I don't remember. And
Crazy.
last weekend, sitting, just got the paper, and Kathy's looking. And she said, "Look, they have that TCL 65, and it was like about $30 more." And I said, "Yeah, we don't have a wall for 65, so don't worry
That's a
about
big
it."
TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's big.
Got to mention 10 inches more diagonal
Yeah,
is significantly bigger.
yeah, it is. It is definitely. And you really need to think about it. Don't jump over a 65-inch or 80-inch, because it may not be right in the room where you're putting it. You need to make sure that it's going to be right.
Try to think about where it's going, how it's going to sit on the wall. I installed some TVs. One time I had to say, I just don't feel comfortable putting
Right.
it where they wanted to put it.
Yep.
And I said, you're not going to like it. And I don't know what they did.
Yeah, bigger is not better.
No. Could we do maybe sometime today if we have the chance? But could we do a kind of a cord cutters update?
As in,
What is the latest? I've been reading a lot about. We're ready to do it. I mean, we got our new Spectrum bill, and we're out of promotion again now, and it's ridiculous. I mean,
I've got a bit of a cord cutter update. Hulu TV has now raised their price to $64.99 a month for their
How
streaming
much?
TV. $64.99.
$64?
It's literally more expensive than basic cable through. I can get basic cable through Spectrum for $40 a month.
Does Spectrum still have that streaming package?
Yeah, but their streaming package
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
Well, the only advantage to that is if you want local channels on a cloud DVR. That's the only
True.
advantage.
Well, but I mean, at this point, Hulu in the last 12 months has raised their price by $20. They've raised their price by a third in the last 12 months. Originally, it was $45 when it started, and then it went to $55 in like March or April, and now December 18th, it'll be going to $65. With taxes, it'll be almost $70 a month for Hulu TV.
And they have to, in today's world, have expanded their subscriber base. So this is gouging.
Well, it's not that it's necessarily gouging. It's that the license fees that these cable networks are charging are killing them. But what it really proves is something that Gal's been talking about for so long is that you can't cut the cord and still expect to get all those channels. The reason cable is so expensive is because of the channels. And until the providers that are providing the content start charging less for their channels, all of these streaming services they're all gonna end up at the same price.
Yeah.
Spectrum's not expensive. It's just what it costs to operate the system.
Or a true a la carte system.
But even a true a la carte system is expensive.
You look at, I've looked at deals. Like I was looking at Philo.
Yeah.
And Philo is actually pretty good. It doesn't do any local channels, and it has all of the cable channels that we would watch. But I have to then come up with a way to do the local channels over the air recording. And for keeping it simple, that's why the Spectrum package sounded good because it has, ABC, NBC, CBS local channels in the cloud DVR, which sounds nice from my perspective, supporting it, right? Because I could handle 3 to 4 different devices, but I don't really want to put Pam through that. So it's yeah, I've been looking at different services now. Our bill is now over $200 a month.
Oh my God.
It raised with the
Gal,
two promotions went away.
Gal,
Yeah.
are there any streaming devices that have a DVR built in that you can plug an antenna into that you know of?
I mean, Amazon has a box, but I still don't know if it takes over the air
It does.
broadcasting.
It does. I don't know what it's called, but I know our friend Brian uses it, and his speaks. If you're in an Amazon Fire TV ecosystem, that's the only catch. He's spoken very highly of it. Now, I will say this though, Gal, the HD Home Run, if you use that on its own and plug in
Yeah,
an
but it
external
doesn't have-
drive, will do it, right?
No, they have one.
I don't know about an external drive, but
Right.
you need a solution to store it. So it's either an external drive or an external machine with
Server,
a drive.
yeah.
Right?
There is an HD home run with a DVR built in.
Yeah, so you could get that. It's the Home Run Skype Duo. It's got 2 tuners and it's got a DVR preloaded. It'll do up to 150 hours of storage, and it's $200.
But you're still looking at multiple boxes, multiple devices to operate.
No, I don't think so,
Hmm.
because it's got an HDMI output, I think.
Yeah, so he's going to, for live TV, he's going to use that, and for streaming, he's going to use something else, right?
Oh,
True.
yeah.
Does the
Yeah.
HD Home Run have a Roku app?
It doesn't.
I will check.
It works.
Because if it has a Roku app, then yeah, you can. So if you have, so this is cool. So if you have an HD Home Run, there is a Roku app. It's called the HD Home Run channel. So you could get the HD Home Run, plug it into your network, and then use a Roku to apparently watch it, according to this. I guess that would be the least amount of button solution. I don't know how well the app works, but yeah.
I mean, we use it through the Ethernet with the Plex
Correct.
server, but you don't have to use the Plex server.
No, and in this case, if you need storage, they do have ones that have that built in. They've got higher up versions as well. The HD Home Run Prime 6.
Are you guys familiar with Channel Master? Which is really they have their own brand, plus they sell TiVo. I guess they bought TiVo.
I heard the new TiVo's pretty good, but I don't know if it's got an I don't know if it has an antenna.
But they've got Channel
The
Master.
new
has
TiVo
something
is just
called-
an Android TV solution,
Yeah.
basically.
with built-ins. But they have Channel Master's got something called Stream Plus Media Player and over-the-air DVR. And you have to have external storage for it, but it does also stream, it can load apps like a Roku would do. Has a built-in free channel guide. I watched them. They kept, as they were morphing into, re-engineering their business, they were struggling with some older products that were just not all that great. But this is actually intriguing. It's $99 for the basic standalone Stream Plus. You can add if you want to add 1 terabyte of storage, it goes up to $169. But that's just an external drive, which you can add yourself. But 1 terabyte drive for $70 more.
Why do you need cable?
Don't. That's the
Okay.
point.
Yeah.
So
Then this would be great.
We've until shows actually you start to see now the local or the over-the-air channels now have their shows coming back online. They've got a lot of new shows have premiered, new episodes, post-COVID, and so there are some shows now that we're watching on the DVR that are ABC, NBC, CBS. So if we can find a good, simple over-the-air, just to record the over-the-air stuff, I don't need anything else. I got Netflix. I got, I got everything. So
And then
I
you
don't-
you just get hooked up with a Plex account
Yeah.
with somebody and connect a couple people's Plex servers and you're good to go.
but I have to keep it simple. I do not want to make it complicated.
Yeah, I mean,
Wha-
this HD home run seems to be for $200. This and a Roku. It'd be. I mean, I'm comfortable with the Roku, and I know Amnon and Gal are comfortable with the HD home run, and they're good devices.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Channel Master.
The Channel Masters, I'm just reading the description now. It's based on Android TV.
Yeah,
So it's just their version of it. But it
Uh,
says subscription free.
but
Spend
does it have all the apps you want? Is the question.
I don't
the
know.
what?
I don't know. How
Well, because the Channel Master would.
Oh,
This
the
Channel Master would take over. It would be the equivalent of using a Roku or a
Yeah.
Fire TV. You would use that as your
You could, yes. you could,
device.
yeah. I'm looking to see. I don't.
I don't think that there is a solution that will be like having a Spectrum box.
No, there's not.
Doesn't exist. You have
No,
to,
and that's intentional.
and you have to. I mean, I'm so glad that Kathy got used to it, to the Plex now. That everything goes through. That's the way Gal set it up. Everything goes through Plex. But you can go to the Roku and just click on Netflix. Or you can go on the Roku and click on Amazon Prime. All of them are there. So it's one interface. The only problem is that, yes, you have to maintain that server. And by the way, Gal, tell me if that makes sense. The picture was pixelating like crazy and cut off, and say I can't play the backup, the recording when you just watching live.
Right.
And I went up there and turned the antenna this way and that way and this way and that way, and nothing made a difference. We were sitting there. I even went and ordered a rotor for that, which is fine. But I don't know what Kathy was pressing on, and I saw the message on the screen that said, "Sorry, there is not enough disk space to perform this task." I said, "Oh, wait a second." So I went to all the recorded the TV and shows where you record off the air, which I'm recording a lot of stuff automatically. And I started deleting some that I said, yeah, we don't need that. Everything is okay since.
And how close were you to the storage capacity?
I
of
have
the-
no idea, because using DF on Ubuntu, it doesn't give me the report that I get from Arch, which tells you how much is used, how much is available. This has all kind of duplicates, and it's a different way. I'm sure it does tell somebody that knows. So the next day,
You have 300 gigabytes free.
I have
400
300.
gigabytes.
I deleted probably about 70 episodes of half-hour shows that we don't, that I said, yeah, I don't know why I even recorded it.
70 episodes of South Park.
Oh, I think it was Hogan Heroes and
Okay.
and I
Come
can't
on
remember.
down to South Park and meet some friends of mine.
So that makes sense then.
Have you watched any of the pandemic specials?
I have. They're
South-
freaking hilarious.
Oh my God.
So
mean, it's
this
just
this
funny.
but what didn't make sense to me is that disk space is gonna make the picture, the image, pixelate.
Well,
Why?
Well, it's
It
running out of
probably
memory.
finds a solution not using disk space, right? So it's using your memory, and
Yeah.
so it's limited in the capacity that it can actually work on. But still,
Okay, so it
these are
must.
the type of things that you need to let me know.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Mhm.
I didn't even know it, and I said, "Well, let's see if that's what it is." And I didn't know if it was just a fluke that it corrected the problem or not. But it's very interesting to know that if the disk space does go low, it starts doing it as though the antenna is not pointing right.
That's because you're not using bubble memory.
And then I mean, in many cases, and this week somehow Kathy saw also on, I think, channel 11 or channel, I can't remember which one, it says that we need to rescan
Yeah,
before
channel
something.
11's doing a rescan, I think.
So
that-
I said, maybe that's what it is. So I rescanned. And then I rebooted the Roku and rebooted the HD Home Run and the network. And it was okay for about 3-4 hours. And
Yeah,
then
because it
bam.
probably cleared out temp
Yeah,
files and
yeah.
when you rebooted the server. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, good to know. Good to know. I wasn't sure. That's what I was saying. Okay, good to know.
What sci-fi movie was it that had, was it Logan's Run or something like that, where the guy went to talk to the master computer and it was bubble memory, and it was literally a tank of water with bubbles rising through it.
Huh.
That's what you need, Amnon. You need to get
Yeah.
an aquarium with bubble memory.
Right.
You can put it out in the fish pond.
Yeah.
That'll be your memory storage until the fish start chewing on it. And then you'll
No, but it's
the
again,
bugs.
there's only a 2 terabyte drive in the server. So you know, it was in the beginning you would think, "Oh, shoot, no big deal." So yeah, I want to record this and I want to record this, and you forget about it. And before too long, it will fill up. So at least in with like with Spectrum, when you record something, it shows you in a graph how much disk space you have.
Probably
Which
a display
the
that
what?
Plex can show as well. We just
Yeah, so
didn't look
that
for
would
it.
be nice. Yeah, because then you know and you say, okay, yeah, nah. But now it's cleaned up and really, I mean, it's just like you're having a new toy and you said, yeah, I'm gonna put everything in there and I'm gonna just I want everything. I want everything. No, it's
Do
fine.
you
I recorded all those Hogan's Heroes, which had about 50 or so episodes, and it's a pain in the ass to delete because I didn't find a way how to delete a whole.
Delete it from your computer. Go to the interface. And if you log in on the
Well,
desktop, it'll take 2 seconds.
I need for Kathy to be able to do that because
Well,
she.
I'm saying if Kathy's not
I
going
see
to
what you
bulk
mean.
deleting. If you need
Okay.
to bulk delete, just go to plex.tv on your desktop and you can bulk delete
Oh.
that way. Be a whole hell of a lot easier.
I did it one at a time, like it did, and you know you get used to it, kind of. But yeah, you record what you want.
Amnon, stop getting used to bad stuff.
I know.
But no, that's it. And since then, this was I think Tuesday or Wednesday, and since then everything is fine.
I've got a solution here for bulk deletion.
Yeah.
I think you could use a drill press
Yeah, and
and you just take that to the drive and
horizontally.
just-
no 9 millimeter? 9 millimeter does. You can do it from a
that's an
distance.
expensive solution, Spence.
but
You
you
don't
can
want
do
to
it
be
from a
doing
I don't know
distance.
if that will be more effective, but it'll be a much more. It'll feel a lot better.
It'll solve a lot
feel
of
a
your
lot better.
hostilities. I know I've seen pictures of people who go to the range and take old hard drives with them and shoot them up.
Exactly.
I want to go to the range. My parents are in town, and my father's never shot a pistol before. I want to go to the range, but I can't afford to shoot.
Why?
This 9mm ammo is so goddamn expensive.
No, now it is. But I bought
yeah.
bulk. I got a bunch of bulk.
Yeah, I'm a
Always.
jackass. I don't have a bunch of bulk.
No, but I bought it before the crazy stuff started.
Yeah.
So plus I have my hollow points too for personal protection.
As do I. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well-
really like 9mm. There was a good. I looked at a good video on what's better, 45, 9, 10.
It's all what you do better with,
Right.
and shooting them both the Glocks, the 9 and the 45, again and again with John. I do a whole lot better with the 45. I'm more accurate. And for some reason, it's not as bad of a recoil with a 45. I don't know why. Maybe because the pistol is bigger, but it
It could
is.
be. It could be because the
Let me ask you this: is the battery life better on the 45?
yeah.
Impeach 45. 45.
What percentage battery is left when you're done shooting them?
So it's whatever you're used to. I mean, whatever you are more comfortable with.
I finished the Pam and I graduated from the Apex community.
You
police
are away
academy.
from the mic again.
Oh, again, I'm not. I can inch further away. I don't understand why she's so sensitive.
I don't
But
know.
you know what? Maybe I have.
That's a good
went back-
microphone.
Let me go to my settings. I might have gone and left on automatic. No, is it on?
Is-
No, it's not on automatic.
Is it pointed
Turn it
at
up.
you? Is it pointed
Turn
at
it
your
up a little
mouth
bit.
or at
Point it
your
right
eyes?
at me. Right at me.
At your
Right.
mouth or at your nose?
My mouth.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but
Anyway, keep going.
we graduated from the. It was 12 weeks, and we went through a lot of classroom, but we did simulation stuff too. We did simulated traffic stops where we were the police. I mean, we got out and we approached a police officer in the car. But the coolest part of it was going into the situation simulator. They have a room with a big screen set up, which is light sensitive to laser, and they have a 9mm, a taser, and a mace that are all set up to work with the screen. And the gun actually works off a CO2 cartridge. They have a special laser sender in the barrel, and then you put where the magazine goes, you put the CO2 cartridge in, and you fire it just like you fire. It goes, it recoils, it does just like you were shooting. So you get put into situations where you're. Did I talk about this already?
You talked.
Remember if I
You
did.
talked about
Might have been.
the class, but I don't know if you. Talked
Yeah, but
about
I don't think. This was like the best thing because there were 4 of us in each round when we went through the simulator. Each of us got 2 or 3 different simulations, and it was amazing. You get a call that there's my situation was you get a call that there's a kid on the bus with a gun, and you're waiting as the bus pulls up and the door opens and the kid walks off with the gun. What do you do? Or there's a hostage guy comes out of a convenience store with a gun to some lady's head. What do you do? So it was fascinating. But the way it shot, it was just like it was shooting a 9mm. Recoil, everything. Amazing.
All right.
Aight.
If we don't
before we switch subject, let me ask one quick question.
Okay, yeah, that's good. No, that's good.
What do you think? Now I'm looking here at the Channel Master Stream Plus. Now it is based on Android TV. It's $99 it's a dual tuner. So keeping that in mind, does not have storage built in. Is it? So I looked out on Amazon. You can buy an Amazon box for what, like $40
Right.
out there? Yeah, about that. Is it worth it to spend $99 to get a name with maybe has better support? Or I don't know. Is it obviously?
So I love Android as phones.
Not
I'm
for
starting
TV.
to think that Android for TV is not a very good solution. So I don't know what goes into the Channel Master box. The Fire TV boxes, they're not fun. They're not quick to respond to, to menu navigation. They're not the use is clunky. There's something clunky about it. Compare it to Roku. Roku is smooth, really smooth. Compare it to trying to think if there's anything else to compare it to. I mean, probably a PC would be much better, but a PC means that you're adding some complexity to just use it, right? So that's why I'm not going there. When it comes to Android devices, I've seen only one recommendation come up again and again and again and again, and that's the Nvidia Shield. I think it's pricier than the $100 the Channel Master marks it.
I just wonder about that number of tuners too. If 2 would be enough for us. So I think it would be.
What do you have today on your well, first of all,
Six.
probably it will be. Yeah, so first of all, probably it will be because you're not going to consume the same amount of channels over the air,
That's true.
right? And there is a tendency for over the air channels today, especially with 24-hour broadcasting, is that if there's um, a show that might conflict with another show, it usually 6 hours later it's being rebroadcasted again.
Yeah.
So you'll just need to wait a bit and you'll get a recording. So you just need one for live and you'll need one for recording. Usually that is enough. I think that's what Amnon has, by the way, just two.
No, I have 4.
You have the 4?
But I mean, I got 4 because I figured, yeah, Kathy would want to record 2 shows at the same time while she's watching. It doesn't happen. But
So-
it's also good if you are going to have off the air and you want to connect it to another TV, not through Ethernet. So you
to
can
see-
have
so two stations can watch live. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that again,
Uh,
that doesn't have because it's much better to do it through Ethernet.
And
We
another
don't-
option would be if live sports are important to you to record them, right? Then
Yeah.
you'll want more.
What's that?
Exactly.
What's
Live
that?
sports.
What's that?
I have no. I'm just saying.
there used to
that
be
would be
this
a
thing,
consideration.
Amnon, where people went to this big place and watched people run around do stuff, but it's kind of not so popular anymore. I think I'm going to try. I like I'm going to do some more research on channel match to see how long it's been out there, and it looks easy, and at least it's a brand name that's supporting it, and they probably don't. I'm going to look.
It's
I'm
a
looking at
brand name, but
reviews
it's
and-
not a streaming brand name, right? So
Yeah.
you're
Spence, why
No,
don't
but
you
they're-
go?
I mean,
Why don't you go
they've
with the
been in
Spence? What's wrong with the proven solution? Why do you have to go with something, and then you're gonna and this, and you have to add this, and you have to do this, and go with the
simplicity.
proven solution that a company that's been doing it for years, just streaming, and they've got it all in
No, I'm
one
talking
nice
about,
compact.
I want the over the air. This is both streaming and over the air DVR. It's both in one. It's built in. You plug in your storage and you go.
theoretically that's what they're selling.
Right.
It doesn't
Well-
mean it's done well.
Oh, I
That's the
realize,
thing.
and I'm willing to. I can always send it back. I'm willing to spend $99 to try it. So as an experiment, because I got to see it.
How
can't-
much is it?
$99.
Oh well, the home run is more expensive.
When I looked at that, I mean, I just
Yeah.
to
And Nick is going to do something. I know that Brian has something else that he was telling me about. He used to.
Yeah, the Fire TV recast. It's a
No,
similar
it was
solution.
another name that I've never heard before. It's like it's the home run, and there's another company that does it. It's not the one of the Amazon.
Yeah,
or
there's a
whatever.
few. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said that he liked it better for some reason for his dad.
and Amnon, that's my
But-
consideration. Is it's got to be simple. And this has a-
That was my consideration also. You can only go so simple. That's why I'm saying I'm lucky and I'm glad that Kathy figured it out. And it's not that complicated. And Kathy is not a technical person.
Oh no, and I'm not saying she would be. I just that
And
it's
she's
we're
fine with
already
it now.
we're already using multiple HDMI sources into the TV from I have an HDMI switch simply because the TV I have only has 2 HDMI inputs.
Right.
So I've got Roku and Chromecast and other stuff hanging off of the switch. And I have the other HDMI going to the cable DVR.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Oh.
Pam's fine with switching back and forth, although she
You're
typically
talking
doesn't-
about switching back and forth sources.
sources.
That's a
Yes.
lot. It's a lot more complicated than it is
Oh, I understand.
with what I'm saying that Kathy is switching back and forth because you go to the menu,
Right.
which it comes up anyway every time you turn it on, and you just choose what do you want. it's not that you have to choose and go back and forth. But it's fine. I mean, you gotta you know Pam better than I do.
No, it's
And
actually, I want to try this too to make sure that this is something that's going to work for us. So
all right, that's fine.
I still have, what was that thing I bought? Gosh, 2015 was it? I bought it. I just tossed it out because the company went out of business. It was a One TV, it was called. It was an over-the-air tuner. They had a single and a dual tuner version. I bought the single one and I used it. It was a cloud-based recording. No, it was local-based recording, but you could look at it through the cloud. And I bought it the first year I went to Alaska to record local shows back home so we could watch them up there because there was the TV up there was terrible. Where we lived, it was you could barely get a signal and there was no cable. So I set it up and I used it that summer on and off. I was working so much it didn't matter. And then I just left it in the box until I found out the company went under.
Spencer,
Speaking
Spencer, you're
of,
not even loud enough to switch the image.
Well,
Okay, anyway.
something's changed since
Yeah, now you switched. Okay, go ahead, Nick.
speaking of devices that don't work anymore, did you guys talk about the Slingbox thing?
Nope.
We talked about it last week. I mean, they're doing
Okay.
away with it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
All devices will become completely
Yeah.
inoperable in 2 years.
Right.
Sling has slung.
Nick, do you remember what Brian was telling me when I started doing this, that he had a HD home run for his dad, but then he went for something else that worked better.
Yeah, he went to the Amazon device.
Oh, he did? I thought it was a different name.
No, he went to the Amazon device.
Okay. So
and
you were
he's
right,
very
Doc.
much he's very much in that Amazon ecosystem, so that's fine.
Okay.
Apparently it works really well. I don't know. I don't have Amazon stuff.
It's called Recast.
Yeah.
No,
called?
is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's the name.
Yeah.
Amazon TV, Fire TV recast.
I thought it was something else. But anyway, yeah, it's as long as it's
Yeah. Apparently it works really, really well. It's got the built-in DVR and everything. It's a slim little device. Yeah, apparently it works great.
I just want to see how many tuners it has.
It's a Fire TV with a DVR in it, right?
It's not
Five
though.
hundred gig.
It's not a Fire TV. I thought you have to. This is just the tuner. I think you have to have
It
a Fire
says-
TV as well.
It says Fire TV Recast.
Yes, but I believe you need to. I believe this is very similar to the HD home run. I believe you need a device to still watch it. I could be wrong.
with the HD home
Yes, you
run.
do. The Fire TV Recast is a standalone device. You still need a Fire TV stick or a Fire TV Cube to use it.
So they have a 2-tuner version with 500 gig of storage and a 4-tuner version with 1 terabyte of storage.
You should probably get the 4-tuner so you can
Yeah.
record at least 2 things. But so you need this and a Fire TV Cube stick, whatever, to actually watch it.
I would
So this is very similar to the HD home run.
I would look at something else first. How is the storage configured? What is the storage?
It's a terabyte
500
storage.
gigabytes.
Yeah,
Half a
or a
terabyte.
terabyte.
Can
500
you
or 1
add
T?
external?
I'm looking now. I don't know.
There's
Honestly,
a USB port, but I
There is a
wouldn't
USB port,
think-
but I can't imagine you would need more than a terabyte of storage.
Yeah, you heard what I said about.
Yeah, Amna, but you're recording 70
Yeah,
episodes of a TV
yeah,
show. That's not
yes,
normal.
yeah,
I mean, typically your DVR is,
Right.
we're not home tonight at 8:00 to watch our show.
True,
We'll record
true,
it and then watch
true,
it.
true.
So,
Yeah, I guess the name media server is
yeah, and
Makes
I
sense.
would agree for Plex,
Yeah.
it you
Yeah,
have the availability to do that, so it's fine. But honestly, Spence, if you're going to do this, I'd wait till Black Friday because Amazon always sells their own stuff at an incredibly deep discount.
Yeah.
Actually, right now they're selling it. This Fire TV Recast is normally $250. It's on sale for $130.
now
I
that's
see
cheap.
yeah,
that,
but
but
it's
yeah.
130, and you need another.
Correct.
You need
Mhm.
another device to view the content from it.
Yeah, and
Correct.
I have an old Fire streaming stick.
You don't want to
It's
use an
junk.
old
No,
stick.
it's junk.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
junk. It's so slow. I
But
would
you
buy
can
a
get
newer-
the Fire TV, the all new Fire TV stick for $27 on sale, or you can get the Fire TV Cube for like $80, which is the Cube is the powerful version of the device. But
so
yeah, but apparently the recast works really, really well. It's
the 1
got
terabyte,
10,000 reviews on Amazon.
The 1 terabyte one is 179.
Well,
Which
the
is- and
best
it's-
Fortune.
the best review is that Brian got it for his elderly dad,
Yep.
who is using it and not having a problem. That is the best review in my.
Spence, you should call. You should give Brian a call this week and just
Yeah.
ask him about it if you're good serious about it, because he's spoken very highly of it. I haven't really listened because I don't. It's not something I'm interested in. But he's spoken very highly of it.
It says it works with either you need a Fire TV or an Echo Show.
Yeah, you can watch stuff on the Echo Show. It's pretty cool.
All right. Can we do the specials, Spence?
Can we?
Can we please?
Only
please?
if you're really nice.
All right. Well, I'm going to bow out at that point. At this point, I've
All
got
right.
an event to go to, so I will say happy
That's
Thanksgiving,
not
everyone.
nice.
So, well, I'm sorry, Gal. A happy
No, but now
Thanksgiving.
we won't get the
You-
special.
you-
He said only if
you-
it will be
you-
nice.
Are you heading home?
Hey, you didn't
No.
tell. You
No,
didn't
my
tell
folks are in
people.
town.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so my folks are in town, but I'm going to
You're
got invited
hosting
to a. Yes, but I got invited to a friendsgiving event at noon, so I gotta get all ready for that.
I heard one last thing about Thanksgiving. I heard a guy call into a radio station to say, I have a problem. He says, I have 9 children. And the limit where I live is 10 people. He says, how do I choose which kid doesn't make it to Thanksgiving? So people really snarky calling in with suggestions. Well, you got to give them all a task to do, or which one cleans their room the best or the worst.
There you go.
Has to eat out on the deck because he can't be in the house.
Gal and
Alrighty, gents.
Nick, enjoy
Be safe.
the company.
Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next weekend.
And you don't need to go to the
Thank-
range. Just shoot out in your yard.
That's a great idea. I live on a quarter acre, but I agree. That's good. It's a good idea. All right. Talk to you
More
guys
than enough
later.
distance.
Bye.
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 All right.
All right.
So can we go for specials?
We can. And today is what we're calling our 6-foot specials. Everything is separated by 6 feet for social distancing reasons. And you can see they've actually come up with an updated version of the Abbey Road album cover
Mm-hmm.
where they're maintaining proper social distancing there. And did you see the story? This lady called Australia. She lives in Australia. She called her local police department. She said, "Can I walk my dog?" She said, "No, you're not allowed to go outside or walk your dog." So what do we do with the dog? Do you live in an apartment? Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Can't walk your dog. Amazing.
So the dog is walking himself.
Well, did you see the one? There was a guy in Israel that actually was walking his dog with a drone. He attached the leash to the drone, and the drone was going. Seriously, they had video of it.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah.
doing I mean,
There's
it
a
was
lot of
probably
gimmicks there.
was
But I
probably
can
a
tell you
joke.
one thing that happened in Israel that not now, but the previous iteration of the lockdown. The lockdown was so severe that only if you the only allowed activity was sports. Okay, that created a trend. Everybody, and I mean everybody on the streets, were just wearing sweatshirts and sweatpants. And if a police officer would stop you, the answer would be, "Hey, I'm out doing sports."
Yeah, but you have to carry a soccer ball with. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm all set.
Oh.
Unbelievable. Okay. All right. So today is November 22nd, 2020. It's been what, 67 years? How many years since Kennedy was assassinated? It was November 22nd, 1963. Hard to believe. Isn't that long? Okay. So today is Fry's Day. Not Friday, it's Fry's Day. And today I went out and poked around on Fry. I have the regular, some of their regular ad stuff, but I also have some interesting stuff that shows up, new products. And there's one, the first one I've got here is called the Mimic Go portable security device. And what intrigued me about this is it uses a new Internet of Things network. this is for device tracking, and it uses something that is a low power network. There's a company called, oh, I misspelled blockchain. Look at that. That's terrible. There's a company that is pushing this network nationwide. It's called the LoRa network, and that's an abbreviation for something. I thought I had it down here. But it is used for basically tracking. And they have these mimic devices you can attach to anything. And this is now they're starting to sell them. It was originally developed for companies to track assets, like to find out when a pallet arrives somewhere in the country. But now you can do it as an Internet of Things to attach it to something you want to, your luggage, your something, some device, and it's $74.99, $15 off, and it actually the network for tracking actually uses blockchain, which is interesting. So I thought that was something new that was worth mentioning. I'm going to do some more reading on their network itself. I did go in briefly this morning and look at it and to see what their company is and why they did this. So fascinating stuff. Okay, so I have recently run into several of my customers who are working from home and have had a real issue with their cell phone service. And the things that I've looked at as solutions in the past. My brother-in-law is one. I got another one an accountant who have to literally go outside to use their phone. The signal service is so bad. And when I looked at boosters, and one contacted AT&T or Verizon, and they did have a solution for them. It was like $600 or more for some type of repeater. And so now they've got a repeater here, Smooth Talker Stealth Z6 6-band 4G LTE high power building boosters. So this has an amplifier with an external antenna to pick up the signal and an internal antenna to rebroadcast it inside the structure, and it's $299 on sale. It was $379, so $80 off. A lot of people doing this is the Antifa special here, the Bauer smartphone LED video light. You see any pictures of any kind of altercations, riots, whatever, demonstrations, you see just everybody is with their phone. Everybody's recording it. Everybody wants to be, an internet star. But lighting is not always, but sometimes a problem. Most smartphones have really good low lighting capability. But here is a $29 LED video light that clamps on the phone, gives you plenty of light. It's $29, it's just $10 off. We've also got from the same company, from Bauer, you've got a universal smartphone LED light mount. This is a LED ring light and a clip to hold your phone, and then that clips to a tabletop. It's $21.99, was $30. It's normally $39.99, so 18 off. And I have actually seen people who do, whether it's remote news or they're being interviewed as part of a podcast, using these when they travel, and works really well. I mean, it's a simple device. It gives you the lighting you need, and you can take it with you. So, and an Allure-Tech Bluetooth Universal Audio Transmitter for $24.99. I have something similar to this that I use. It's not the Allure-Tech brand, and it costs about the same thing same price on Amazon. But this is a way to take a device that does not support Bluetooth, that has a phone jack output, and you can plug it in and use it. And I don't know that this works. This says transmitter. The one I have is dual transmitter and receiver. It's a little bit difficult to configure, but once you get it, I have a set of Bluetooth headphones I use when I watch television that all I have to do is turn the headset on and it connects automatically. It remembers. So if you want to connect it to multiple devices, you've got to probably go back and reassociate the Bluetooth. But this is a handy thing to have, especially if you are like me and you normally have to have the TV up pretty loud and might disturb people in a room. So I have my headset just for that. Okay, so getting into some other accessories, we've got a USB 3.0 4K dual video docking station, USB-C, so it's pretty fast. Supports 4K, 60 hertz, 5K, single 5K at 60 hertz, 134, $65 off. So if you have a high-end PC with a USB-C connection, you can now support multiple HDMI's outputs and not sacrifice quality. It does have also has an Ethernet port. So if you have a laptop that has no Ethernet port, which most don't have anymore, but a USB slot. So this is really a not just a video docking station. It is a full-fledged docking station, USB ports, and so on. We've got a couple of adapter. Well, this is I didn't include the picture of the other version of this, but these are digital adapters for output. If you have an optical output that you want to convert to digital coax, or you have a coax output that you want to convert to optical. There are two of these here. They're both $19.99. It's $8 off. I actually used this when I first got with my older television. Before I upgraded to TV, I had that Bluetooth adapter, and I didn't have a phone plug output on the television. So I used the digital optical output into a small box that converted it to phone plug output. It was worked very well. But that's similar to what you would use it for 20 bucks. I've never seen a Kensington keyboard except for the small iPad one I had years ago, the little Bluetooth keyboard that comes with the case. That quality was very good. Kensington make good products. I don't know how they compare to Logitech, but they've got a Kensington keyboard for life, they call it. I don't know what it means. It has a lifetime warranty. Keyboard, wireless keyboard and mouse combo for $24.99, normally $29.99. This is for Thanksgiving, Amnon. When people come over, you can take their temperature outside. This is a non-contact infrared medical thermometer, FDA approved for 20. That's cheap for something that's FDA approved, $24.99. I have the Harbor Freight one, which is used for, how hot is my catalytic converter kind of thing.
Right. No, it doesn't work.
This is no, that wouldn't work very well. But I use it for checking like air conditioner temperatures and things like that. I did use it when I diagnosed a catalytic converter problem. But $24.99 was $59.99. So I guess they ramped up to build a lot of these, and now there isn't so much a call for them anymore. Just like you see, just hand sanitizer everywhere in stores, and the prices are dropping. Thank goodness, but they've got so much supply of hand sanitizers. What?
They should drop.
Yeah, they should. Well, when the pandemic first started, you couldn't get it.
Right.
It was crazy. That one guy bought it all. The whole country supply with it. Remember that? That one guy bought it all, and he tried to resell it, and nobody would sell it for him because he was gouging. Interesting. Okay. Got a couple of interesting devices here for podcasters. Got a iRig lavalier broadcast quality lavalier mic for $29, which is 10 off. Got a Voco Pro Streamer Studio USB audio interface, podcasting and live streaming. And this is cool because it's got a condenser mic on a boom, and it's got a mixer built in, USB output mixer. So combo. I don't know the quality of it, but it's $79. It's normally $99, so it's $20 off. This was the device I mentioned earlier when we were talking about USB power problems. And this is triplet USB bug. It's called dual output inline USB-A tester with data masking charging port. So this can give you information about how good a USB-A port is, whether it's up to snuff, if it's a powered, if it's an extra power port or just a normal power port. And the masking, I guess, is to block. If you plug in a phone to this, you don't want it to charge something. You don't want it to connect through to whatever device is powering this. So it's also a masking device, which is handy because sometimes you plug it into a port on a PC, and next thing you know, Windows is going, how do you want to handle this storage? So you don't want that to happen. So $14.99, which is $6 off. and then a Bluetooth earbud headphones. There's all kinds of versions of this stuff out there. This is probably, for me, if I had just earbuds, I would lose them when I'm working because they would just fall out of my ear too. I can't find anything that really fits well, that's comfortable. I have a set like this, very same form factor. I think I paid about the same amount for them. The kind I had was, I'm trying to remember the brand name. You see it on Amazon. There's they have a couple of different headsets under the same brand name. I can't remember. But the
Now,
point
this
that
is really not the headset. It's just
no, it is. It does have a microphone. You can use it for calls as Bluetooth.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, it does have a mic. Yeah, it does. And they're comfortable. You have the cable loop, so if it falls out of my ear, I don't lose it, which I like. And remember the ones that you used to have like a
Yeah.
thing that went around your neck and it had two little cords with the
Right.
terrible because I had it and no matter what I did, how careful I was with it, eventually the cord went bad. That tiny little skinny cord. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Gal's got one, and I loved it because it had like 8 hours of battery time, but I would always destroy it. The wire would get hooked on something. So this particular form factor, I have two different versions of this. Is the best I found for being active, working, bending over, crawling around, doing things. So $24, $4 off. Okay, memory. 16 gig of either SO-DIMM or regular DIMM memory. One is 1600 megahertz for 16 gig. DDR3 is $79. That's not much off, $4 off. Or the full size PC4 19200, 2400 megahertz, 288 pin DIMMs for $75, which is $7.99 off. This next adapter, I've never seen one of these, and this is fascinating. I think this could help people. You got depending on the machine you have. This is a rear mount 2.5-inch hard drive SSD mounting bracket that is also one of the dummies for a port on the back of the PC.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, right? This would be if I have my desktop that I have has no more disk space. I have a DVD drive. I have a slot that's got an adapter. I have a 2.5-inch in it, and the internal slot also has a drive in it. So if I wanted to add another drive internally, I used to get a piece of foam, set it down on the bottom of the case, and lay the drive down. It would sit there.
Velcro,
Well, Velcro. You could put it.
Velcro.
Yeah. So now you could this way at least it gets some air cooling, and it plugs into the. Notice it's got the teeth on the bottom there.
It plugs just like a regular card.
Yeah, it's like a regular card, and it uses the card slot to stabilize it. It's not just held by the bracket in the back. So $1.99, $3 off. It's fascinating. The next one I thought was a good Zyxel. Remember Zyxel?
Yeah, Zyxel.
They've been around forever. They were the OEM manufacturer for a lot of stuff like Netgear and Linksys in the beginning. They still do that business, but they've had their own brand for a while. I had a Zyxel 3G VPN modem that was used for, actually it was for 3G was backup. It was a VPN modem for business. You connected it over your internet connection, but if it dropped, it would dial the 3G network to bring your VPN back up for for your work connection. It was fascinating. Zyxel. I think I still have it in the attic. I don't know why I'm saving it. But so Zyxel 2-bay diskless personal cloud storage for home with remote access. $79.99 was $99, so $20 off.
What does it mean, diskless?
I mean, it's got 2 bays, but there's no discs. You add the discs.
Okay, you add the disc. Yeah,
you
so
add the
it's
discs. And I'm pretty sure when you got the 2-bay like this, it probably supports different versions of RAID.
Many of them are just like a RAID.
Yeah,
they have two.
So I think you could probably choose
yeah
level of RAID that you want.
Right.
So pretty cool. Okay, so we've also got here the Trendnet AC2200 mesh system, 2-pack, $169 for 2. If you want a single Single AP is $99. That's on sale. Normally it's 169. It's 229, so it's $60 off. I don't know how much the single one normally is, but it's 99 on sale. Eve just got Google Fiber, and included with her monthly fee, she got of course their optical converter router, and they gave her the Google Wi-Fi router, to a base and a remote, not and it's included in the price per month. So she put the remote upstairs, and now she has really good coverage in her townhouse. Okay, we have a for $42.99. We've got a
Tenda.
Tenda. I'm
Tenda.
sorry, I saw I added an R, didn't I? AC 1200, not the fastest AC, but it does have a MIMO multi-in, multi-out, dual band gigabit Wi-Fi router for $42.99, which is $15 off. So if you don't need super high speed streaming, AC 1200 is more than fast enough for most users in a low count environment. But good deal on a
And it
AC 1200.
works. It works great. I installed one of them over at Omar's.
Yeah, no, it's a good brand.
And it's great.
Yeah, they're good stuff. We've also got a TP-Link 5-port gigabit desktop switch with 4 ports of power over Ethernet for $42. That's pretty good. 49 normally, 7 off. Sometimes you just got to you have phones you want to power. Sometimes an access point that you need to power, the typical things that you. Now, this is not going to be probably the new higher power standard. I think its original PoE is 15 watts. I know they have it much higher wattage now, which is kind of scary. You think about it, you could do some damage with if you have 40, 50 watts going out across a cable at the other end. If
Yeah,
something
but it needs
shorts.
to be negotiated first
Yeah.
before it goes out. So
Yeah, I have one of my friends I used to work with was one of the patent holders for the original PoE standard. And so I knew a lot of the history behind what they were developing here. It was kind of cool.
Do you know that this is the old, or
I
you
don't
assume?
know. I'm saying it doesn't say high power PoE.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it's going to be the original
Okay.
standard, which is 15 watts, 15 point something watts per maximum per link. So this next device, I've been waiting to see something like this. I knew that they were out there, and I just didn't see it. SIG, which has been it's a pretty popular company. Wi-Fi 6, so it's already it's not Wi-Fi 5, so it's the AX standard 3000 dual band Ethernet PCIe card. Plug it into your desktop, and it gives you the capability of the latest Wi-Fi standard, Wi-Fi 6, for $37.99, $12 off. That is a deal. If it works good, got some big honking antennas on the back there, so you can take advantage of the newest standard, the AX standard. And now we get into the smorgasbord of stuff that I threw together from the actual ad from today. They have a bunch of HDMI stuff, 5x1 HDMI switch for $34.99, 1x4 HDMI splitter for $69. I can't think of it. I guess if you're in a commercial environment, it might be a 1-to-4 split would be something that would be you could use, but I can't think of what you would use it for in the home. I don't know. HDMI converter. This is interesting. And a component to HDMI.
Yeah.
And then the next one was even older technology, RCA composite to VGA converter. So each of these has a place. I mean, probably if you're working with some old equipment that you need to, like say an old VCR or something, some old audio video equipment that you need to capture stuff from, this could come in handy. Or even view, say you have an old VCR that you don't have an old television to hook it up to. This is what you would use, and you could convert it to VGA and look at it on a monitor. So I wonder if it supports sound. S-video, VGA, composite, PAL, NTC, auto detect. That's $34.99. The component video to HDMI converter is $59.99. We've got a 15 amp power adapter with 3 outlets, 3 USB, 5-foot extension cord for $12.99. I have I've had a couple of versions of this. The first one I had, I lost. It's great for traveling because it's not only as an extension cord. You go to hotel, especially older hotels, where you go to plug in your power, your charger for your phone, and the plug is behind the bed, or it's in another part of the room, and it's just not convenient. This gives you at least a power cord and a USB and power extension for other devices you can plug in. It's very handy. First one I had, I lost. I was on a trip, it just disappeared. I don't know what I did with it. I have a second one now, and it's an excellent device. I take it with me whenever I travel. Okay, 6 outlet plus 2 USB wall plug with built-in nightlight and surge protector for $14.99. We've got Patriot 128 gig USB 3.1 flash drive for $12.99. 256 gig USB 3.0 flash drive for $44.99. There you go, Amnon. That's what you need for you take the shows you want to delete and just store them
Right.
on here.
Put them right.
Move them over there. Anything you can have all those Gomer Pyle USMC episodes. You probably save the entire all seasons of the show on 256 gig. Interesting. And then we've got USB 2.0. We've got 16 gig USB 2.0s for $449. We've got 16 gig USB 3.0 for $379. How is it cheaper? Unless it's a four. Isn't that not a 4-pack? No. 32 gig USB 3.0 for $499 and 64 gig for $699. I actually have a Gigastone. I bought one of these years ago, 32 gig USB 3.0. The first one I ever bought was at the Fry's in Santa Clara, California, when I was there on a business trip years and years and years ago. I still have it, still works. Okay, we've got a Trendnet Quad Stream AC 2600 dual band router for $99, and it's $84.99 with a promo code. Not the latest thing, but it's a really good router. USB-C to Gigabit Ethernet adapter. If you're a technician and you work on laptops, especially, this is extremely handy for when Wi-Fi either isn't there, doesn't work, or you're loading new operating system and it doesn't have a driver. So you can plug this in, and usually the driver's built in. I have one of these that I bought to work with the Amazon Fire Stick. It was a combo special power adapter or splitter cord and this USB. It wasn't C, it was USB micro connector Ethernet adapter. No, I'm sorry, USB 2.0 A. Gosh, sorry, I'm losing my mind here. USB A. And I used it to connect the Fire Stick, and then I got better Wi-Fi and I eliminated it. And I now have it in my kit to use with Windows because it works. The drivers, you plug it in, it works. Very, very handy to have. This is $14.99. For people who want to have outdoor Wi-Fi, and for some reason they can't, let's say you can't place a AP in a window or something like that to cover an outdoor space. This is an outdoor 2.8 gigahertz Wi-Fi antenna. It says extender. It is not a powered device. It is an antenna, and it will work with any Wi-Fi routers that have removable external antennas. So you can run a cord. I don't know if it comes, how long the cord it comes with is, but it does have a bayonet connector on the back of the actual panel antenna itself. But for $17.95, you have to run the cord through to the router inside, a safe place. But it is a way to extend inexpensively outdoors with a.
So then you lose the internal signal.
I'm sorry.
Then you lose an internal signal.
You would have, well, normally they have two antennas. So, but it depends on the circumstances. Okay. This is not, it gives you a way to, it looks like it's a directional beam or panel antenna. So it's going to broadcast, ahead of it. So from what I could see from the information I read, but could solve your problem. And finally, we've got a bunch of stuff from a company called Avatar, which makes smart bulbs. They've got Wi-Fi color changing bulbs for $18.99. Now, what's the difference here? Adjustable color temperature. Is it different wattage? Wi-Fi LED Android, iOS, Amazon Alexa. It's pretty much the same. What's the difference? Why does it have a picture of a phone? One is $18.99, and the other one
We
is
can
$14.95.
hardly hear you.
Oh, sorry. What's up with my microphone today? Literally an inch difference makes a
Well,
tremendous
no,
difference in
especially
audio.
if you go side to the
Yeah.
side.
Okay, so different choices of smart bulbs. They've got a smart capsule outlet Wi-Fi plug. It's a 2-gang, independently controlled for $12.99, and yet another smart bulb for $14.99. I don't know the differences. I didn't click on each of these. Maybe it's wattage, but there are 3 different versions of smart color changing bulbs, and finally they have a smart plug for $12.49, Wi-Fi controlled.
Mm-hmm.
And all this lovely stuff is at Fry's. So keep in mind, there's no, if you don't live in California, or I guess they still, I wonder if they still have
You can do it
Atlanta.
online.
Yeah, you can, but they do charge for shipping in some cases.
In
So
most instances, I would imagine.
Yeah. So, but some of these deals
Well,
are
thank you,
actually pretty good.
Spence.
Unique stuff.
Yep.
And that's it for November 22nd, 2020.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I've kept the screen 6 feet away from me the whole time I read these specials, so there's no risk of contamination.
Wiggs, did you get your audio fixed, or I mean, I'm looking at the signal going out, and it's fine. I know when Spence was talking, it was low, but don't judge by that. Yeah, if you go to the audio channel, it's very loud, absolutely. But then you don't see the thing. All right. I'm wondering if you Spence, I mean, there's something there on your end. It's low.
Yeah, well, like I said, I set up for Zoom
And
using.
and can you raise the volume, the microphone volume?
I had turned it up already. Let me turn it up some more. Up pretty high. 1, 2, 3.
That's a little bit
Yep.
too much. And
How
and
about
you
now?
may also at the same time you got it closer to your mouth. It's not going to stay there. I know it's not.
No.
Talk.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Much better.
Mucho better.
I need to use my big boy voice.
Yeah. And Eli is saying the video is crappy. Okay.
It's always crappy. What are you talking
Delete
about?
some episodes.
Oh. If it is crappy, though, try and use one of the other channels under the video, either the Twitch or the VI, the Facebook, and see.
Are you going to use Rumble?
Rumba?
Rumble.
What is that?
It's a new alternative to YouTube.
I'll use
people are
anything.
flocking there now because they have they will do monetizing, and they're friendly as far as they're not blocking anybody for content or putting doing taking them down and all this stuff. It's sponsored. I don't know who put it together, but if you're familiar with Parler, right?
Oh,
it doesn't come from the same people, but they're working together to try to build a platform that's similar. So they're going to eventually have Parler's going to have support for Rumble built in, so you can just click on a Rumble
I'm not
link.
happy with Parler.
It's not there yet.
It's slow. It is slow.
It's slow. Well, they've had, think about it, they gained 1 million new users in like 2 weeks.
Right.
So, but they're working on it now. And one of the issues I have is that there's a lot of repeating at times. The same post will be there 10 or 15 times, which doesn't make any sense. But I mean, they're working on it. I know that I've read information from the people who started it. I've seen the guy interviewed. He says, "Yeah, we're working as fast as we can to make it work." But it's gaining in popularity, and it's working because they actually on CNN, they got all crazy about, oh, they should, who do they think they're going over there? It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, well, here you are, you're a free speech person and you're stopping somebody from going to another
Right.
platform because you shut them down. Come on. So,
Something else about this. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter have said they will join forces with fact checkers, governments, and researchers to try and come up with a new way of tackling misinformation. So, in other words, that tells me that they failed.
well, why do you make it your mission if you're not a publisher?
Right,
Why
right,
do you care?
right.
It's just that's the crazy part about it is it's just
But
did you watch the most recent testimonies?
no,
Zuckerberg
no,
and the hermit.
no.
They were lying through their teeth. The one I forget which senator nailed Zuckerberg. He denied, and Zuckerberg, well, you have this system at Facebook that you use to collaborate with these other providers. No, we don't. So then he says, oh yeah, you do, because here it is, and he showed it because he got a whistleblower from inside Facebook to show him the interface and the application. Well, how they collaborate on how to block people.
Yeah,
Zuckerberg, well, I really don't know that much about the ongoing, activities around this. And it's like, we could talk about that later. I said, come on, you're going to tell me that you don't know what's happening here?
no.
And then he actually confirmed it later in his own testimony by admitting that they do it. So
The reason why this, fact checking, facts checking, caught my eye is I was thinking about Channel 5 here locally, WRAL, and they have somebody
oh,
who thinks he knows his stuff.
it's
And
pathetic.
and it is what pathetic is not a word. I mean, come on, be at least a little bit believable. And you can look at you and see that you're full of it. It's just amazing that things like this, and they are successful in convincing people that this is true. I mean, it's convincing some people
Well, you know what?
that they're
I
fact checking. Yeah, it should be fact checking
I
instead of
am
fact.
encouraged that more people seem to be waking up to it. Not in, I wouldn't say it's a mass movement, but slowly chipping away at the fact that people are starting to realize that maybe there's more to this than I think.
Yeah, there
I
is.
do. Yeah, it's just
It's just amazing that people go for. I mean, come on, you guys. You're on television. Report it
you know
and
what,
leave.
Amnon, you got to go back and look. The first time I really had an idea of how deep this was, it was Oprah talking about how you have to find what your truth is, what your facts are. It's like, really? I didn't realize there were different facts exist on the same thing. It's like, well, this is my truth and you can have your truth. And it's like, well, no, there is the truth. And I'm big enough boy that if I find out that what I thought is wrong, I'll say, okay, it's wrong. But you can't just hold on to something because you want to believe it so bad that
Right.
you deny that it's true. So it's like, I'm disappointed when I find out that something I thought was true isn't. Or something
No,
that I
but you
didn't.
have to learn from it and
And I
accept
will.
it.
And I sit back and I go, what else do I not know about this person
Yeah.
or this thing? Or maybe I find out that something I held against somebody wasn't true. And I'm like, I don't like having that happen, but I'm willing to say, hey, I was wrong.
Yep. And listen to this. I don't know that we knew about it. The PC revolution started life 35 years ago this week. Last week. Microsoft launched its first versions of Windows on November 20th, 1985 to succeed MS-DOS. It was a huge milestone that paved the way for the modern version of Windows we use today, while Windows 10 doesn't look anything like Windows 1.0, it still has many of the original fundamentals like scroll bars, drop down menus, icons, dialog boxes, and apps like Notepad and MS Paint. I mean, it's something that we saw in the original Windows and still is there. But 35 years ago is when Windows started. And
Well,
we used to call it, oh, what do you mean operating system? This is just a menuing system.
well, it still ran on DOS.
Yeah.
It just was.
But
I
it's
remember
interesting.
somebody
Look, the
bringing.
first window wasn't Windows 1.0. The first Windows was Windows 3, right?
Window what?
3.1. Windows 3.1.
Well, the first
The
GUI
real.
that was
Yeah,
Mac.
the real one.
That was still a very elaborate shell,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it that was the beginning of it. So
I remember
Windows
a friend.
1.0 was Microsoft's attempt to rip off Lisa, right, from Apple.
I remember a
So
friend bringing over
That's
the
a
very first.
yeah. That's right, Gal. Yeah,
Rip
I
off who?
forgot about that. What, Spence?
Rip off who?
Lisa,
Lisa,
Oh
the
yeah,
the
yes.
Apple
Apple.
Oh,
thing. Yeah, that's
I was
right.
going to say, I remember a friend bringing over the very first Mac, and it came in a soft padded bag with a handle on the top. You unzipped it, and took it out. It was the original Macintosh, and showing me, brought it over my house. It was like, I think it was like 1982, something like that, 81. I was still living on Long Island, so I know I moved away in 84, and it was before that. So he brought it over and turned it on, and I was looking, oh my God. And it was so different. I wasn't a PC user back then. I didn't have any access to, the original PCs, of course, were so incredibly expensive.
Macintosh is 84. So
Yeah,
maybe it was the Apple IIc.
it was definitely a Macintosh,
So
original
84.
Macintosh. Yeah. Um, the what was there was a IBM had several prototypes that really were PCs that were built in the 70s that were like more of an engineering machine that were based on the same type of hardware with the ISA bus and uh, it wasn't 8088 processors. It was an earlier version of that, but they did have some equipment that they built, but unfortunately within the company, they wouldn't allow it to be. Gene probably knows all about this. That there were things that
Let's
it didn't survive the gauntlet within the company where you had to run when you come out with a new product, you had to introduce and show all the other divisions what you were doing. And if it competed with another product, you had a hard time bringing it to market.
see who called.
Oh, Gene says, I remember it
Hello.
well. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, why can I not hear? Who's there? Nobody's there. All right. Some reason I thought that was Gene. But is Gene even here?
I
He's in the
remember
chat.
when I moved to Poughkeepsie, I was working in Poughkeepsie, and I was working on early PCs. First time I saw one was in the city when I worked in Manhattan. Guy took us in a room and says, I can show you something that hasn't been introduced yet. You can't tell anybody about it. And took us in a room for the original PC one. And that was probably 80, I guess 82 or 83. I don't remember exactly. But that was incredible. But yeah, it's been a weird. You'll never need more than a 10 meg hard drive.
Yeah, that
You
was
never
that
need
was
more
a
than
thing.
250 or 512 memory or 6.
Let's see
Yeah.
again. Something is wrong here.
What was your first PC, Gal?
The first computer was a Sinclair Spectrum 16K.
Hmm.
That was my first computer. I was 6 years old. My dad bought it as practically got hooked seeing it at friends. He bought it, and I pretty much took ownership of it. Started programming, started learning basic through it. Um, Mostly was focused on trying to build games, right? Small games, copying source code and stuff. That was me. Um, I was never I was never a hacker though. I never went too deep. Um, I had a friend at a few years later. He was really deep into it. Uh, and then 1991, I think that's when I got my first PC. It was a 286. That's when I ventured into the DOS land of everything.
Mm. My first one was a Commodore PET, and it had a cassette deck for saving. And I wrote basic programs like where I'd have graphics on the screen, basic graphics built with just ASCII characters, and just to say which of these
Really?
three is not like the other, and they'd have to choose 1, 2, 3, 4. And my kid, I created for my kids. If you chose right, just built a basic program. And we're doing that, and then I had the next one I had was a TI 994A, first color one I had.
Yeah.
And then the first PC I had, I built from parts.
Yeah.
Let's see
No.
if we can hear the caller now. Try. Gene, I can't, but I don't think it's your problem. I think it's something over here. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Talk.
So single spectrum was something similar. The storage interface was audio based, audio modulation, and a lot of the programming was either ASCII based, or you had they provided a method of editing the fonts. So you would create sprites within the font, 8 by 8 matrix
Sprites.
of dots,
Oh wow!
right? And you could create your own graphics by building those 8 by 8 blocks and setting them aside one another. It was really really cool. 16 colors, right? It was like so it was like it had 8 primary colors, and it had the bright version, so 16 colors. It was really really complex in that term, and it ran on only 60. My version had 16K kilobytes of memory, and there was like an extended one where it had uh, 48 kilobytes. That was the RAM. It was like
Wow.
ridiculous. Yeah.
I'm thinking back to classes I took, and I know it. One class I took, it was punch cards, and I think that's when I was in. Before I was working, I was in community college,
Uh-huh.
and you have to. And I had to go. You submit it. You'd wait at the window. And sometimes it would be done right away, and sometimes you have to wait. If it was messed up, you'd get it back. So it didn't run. Figure out what was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. That part I only heard about. And my excursion into computers was self-taught.
Then a friend loaned me an HP portable computer that had a
Wait a sec. Gene, call back. I figured it out.
like
Go
a
ahead.
4-inch diagonal CRT and a keyboard. It was basic. It ran basic. I don't know what the operating system was, but instead of having to do those basic key punch, he gave me this to run, and the output was really like a cash register receipt tape, and that's how I submitted my programs.
Yup. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
All right. Let's see what else. I don't think Gene heard me. Yeah, when you leave things alone too long, they tend to I mean, connections, plugs, they tend to oxidize or corrode or
gotta-
something.
You got to prime them.
Yeah.
Got to run water through them first to get them to work again.
I don't know, water. Now, I always used to, when I have time, I used to love sitting and watching the Panama Canal locks. Well, the other day I went in and it said plugin not supported, and I realized,
Flash?
oh yeah, I uninstalled Flash.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's fine. I mean, they have a new way of doing it, but I like the old way. But I mean, with that, the Internet Archive is now emulating Flash animations, games, and toys in our software collection. Jason
Hmm.
Scott writes in a blog spot post utilizing an in development Flash emulator called Ruffle. We have added Flash support to the Internet excuse me, Archive emularity system. And Wishful will be over. And so it emulates Flash programs and scripts and things like it's on the Internet Archive. So that's nice. Hopefully, maybe somebody will be able to port it into PC.
Well, it's a project that started in 2017. It's an open source project,
Right.
but they have found a way to embed it. That's what I find interesting. You do not need to run Ruffle, right, in order to play whatever they're doing. They found a way of
Embedding it into the
embedding it. Yeah, that's really really cool. Yeah, and that makes sense. The Internet Archive, right?
Yep.
That makes so much sense. Yeah, amazing project.
there are multiple mentions of that in the last week or so with this Dominion's uh, voting machine software story, how they've been deleting things off their webpage. And people say, well, nope, we still have it because we went to the Internet Archive. It's all there.
yeah, that's Internet Archive is a good um feature on the internet, and it's worth
Is,
supporting.
is the
Yes,
Wayback
it is.
Machine still there?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because I remember going back and looking at the web page for the show back in like 1990 or 2000 maybe. When did
No,
I start on the show?
the show started in 1993.
But when did I start? In 99?
I think before
Yeah.
that, somewhere around 96,
Somewhere around
97, maybe. Um, wait a second. Let's solve this. So, Gene, are you saying that right now you cannot call again? Let me restart Skype. Don't see why it would be unavailable. Go ahead and try and call again. That's interesting. Can somebody else call 919-518-9773? Actually, I can do it from here. There it goes. Gene? Gene? No, I could hear the ringing, but I can't hear you. No, that's not you. Hear the ringing, but I can't hear you. No, that's not.
There's a feedback.
Yeah, I see that. That's not here. Interesting. I sure hope you didn't change your settings there because you thought the problem was on your end. But anyway, go ahead. Gal, you were saying?
I was. I thought
Oh.
we're done. Lost my train of thought. I mean, we were talking about Raffle and the archive.
Yes,
but
it's
that's it.
you know, I mean, I don't know how they would treat somebody who's just trying to put all their photos up there. I don't know if they will let you do it, but I mean, even if they do, you got to know that at that point anybody can see it.
Yeah.
It is free, but I don't know that you would want to do that. But I mean, all the audio of the show, the on-demand audio, when you go to Computers 2K Now and you or any of the other shows and you playing just the audio comes from Internet Archive. It works great. It is dependable. Knock on wood. And it's free. I mean, yeah, I do give them money whenever they ask. Just turn around and donate. But in essence, it is a good resource to have around the internet, not just for me, for anybody. Like Spence was saying, you know, with the people that say, "Oh no, we never said that." Well, here it is where you did say it. So it's nice to have it. Yeah.
What was the before we were Computers 2K Now?
It was Computers 96, Computers
Oh yeah, but what was the
97,
web
Computer
page?
98, 99.
What was the web page?
It was on 850 The Buzz.
Oh, okay. Because the furthest I can find is like 2000. No, I don't know how far back on the Wayback Machine. It doesn't go back that far. It's like 2011.
No,
For
wait.
Computers 2K Now, that's as far back they had.
Computers 2K Now started in 2000 because I wanted to stop that thing that every year we
Every year had to
change.
change it. Yeah. So the earliest Wayback Machine is 2009.
Computers 2K Now.
Yeah.
But what happened if
December-
you go? What happened if you go to 850thebuzz.com? Because before that, I don't know. No, I think we did have a website. Spence, you're asking questions that.
Oh, 850 The Buzz goes back to 1997.
Yeah, that's about right. That would be about
1990
right.
December 12th, 1997. Let's see what we got here. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Right. Share the screen.
I'll share it. It's still loading. But most of it is just the sports stuff. Let me see if I can find. Now the formatting is weird. It's not
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because they don't keep all the images.
Frames. Yep.
Yeah, and it was in frames.
Let me go a little newer and see what I can find here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope
this is-
we
this
didn't
is
break any
better.
copyright on that tune.
Amnon Computers 2000. There we go. Let me share this. It'll be fun to look at.
Nothing before that?
No, there is things before that. I just skipped ahead to what to a better format here. Let's see if I can.
I mean, that may be when we started doing the video. No. It was
No,
around.
I want to see. I want to show people what. Hang on a second. That's not. I got to scroll the actual screen. I made it smaller and it didn't look right. Get rid of that.
There's something sticking up at your face.
Yeah, that's it. I'm trying to remove it. I clicked on it. I didn't mean to. There we go. Remove. How come it won't let me remove it? All right, ignore that little white thing over there. I'll be open up another one. This is the talent on the air at the time. Amnon Computers 2000. Wow. Adam Gold, he's still on the air, right?
Huh?
Adam Gold is still on the air.
Yeah, at
Pretty sure.
the fan.
And
99.9.
Yeah. I guess this was before Gordon had his show.
I know. Mike Solardi is now on.
Yeah, he's still around.
Time Warner
Morgan
Spectrum.
Patrick. Geez, Imus. I remember he was Imus in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, these were the days.
Yep.
Let's see what else we have here. Now, if you're looking into something like Zoom, Microsoft is making a big push to entice fans of Zoom over to Microsoft Teams with a new all-day video calling option. All day. That means you can stay up all day. That can be used for free while the software giant launched Microsoft Teams for consumers on mobile earlier this year. It's now bringing Teams friends and family features to the desktop and web, allowing you to create a Microsoft Teams meeting up to 300 friends. I mean, I can't use it. I don't have that many friends. And family, I don't even have that many family. That can run all day free of charge. You won't need Microsoft account or the Microsoft Teams app to join calls, as you can join free via a web browser. Microsoft Teams will also support seeing up to 49 friends or family members in a gallery view or through its Together mode features that puts you side by side in a virtual environment. With Thanksgiving just a week away, it's clear Microsoft is positioning Teams as a way for families to connect virtually during the pandemic. That's nice. I don't know that I would want to start using something like this before it's proven. But
Well, Teams is nothing new.
yeah, I know, but this is Teams, friends, and family. I don't know if it's the same team.
Yeah,
Apparently,
I wonder if it's just branding of something that
Oh,
already existed.
okay.
Yeah,
do you use it?
I use Teams for work,
Yeah, and
and I really like the feature set, and they've improved substantially in the past year.
oh well, and I mean, after all, Zoom is
Look, the best the best feature set right now belongs to Discord, and I don't know why. I'm guessing because they're focused on gamers,
Yeah.
and the gaming world. Then there isn't very much interest. But truth be told, if you need now to choose a new system to use, and you're looking for something good for free, I think Discord is probably the best one right now.
But what does
Microsoft is great because it's integrated into the Microsoft ecosystem. So if you're an Office 365 user, it's a no-brainer, right? Everything is connected for you there.
but the thing that I would be concerned about is how easy it is for an occasional guest to connect via Discord. What do they have to do? What do they have to go?
Just open a browser.
Okay, so that's nice.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying Discord is probably the best in that aspect. It's just open a browser. And there's another aspect that Discord makes very easy because it has the concept of servers, right? So you'll have a server of your own, and it just means that you control that you control uh, uh, a section of channels, right?
Mhm.
Because and you can create automation through it also and stuff like that. So you're the server that you created is your domain. Discord makes it ex- extremely easy to hook up to multiple servers like that. So, for example, the chat window that we have on the website,
Yeah.
right? That can actually be a Discord chat, and we can put something on the website that will allow people to join, to step in without actually logging into Discord. But those who will log into Discord, they'll be able to keep their history, or they'll be able to continue discussion after the show's out,
And
stuff like
that's
that.
free
Discord
anyway,
is
right? To get an
yeah,
account is
yeah.
free.
Yeah. Discord is
Yeah.
completely free. It has a premium, like if you pay, you get like additional features, but they're usually they're very game oriented. They're very for gamers. You get access to free games. You provide support to the development, but it's non-obtrusive. It's really one of the more interesting. It's not only communication platform. It's a complete social platform in all terms, and it's a very interesting approach.
Well,
You know what? I'll this is a very interesting idea. I haven't thought about it before, but let me see if we can figure out a way of doing an anonymous chat hooked up to a Discord chat, right?
you mean
And if
between
that's
us?
possible,
Yeah.
yeah, and if that's possible, then all we need to do, right, is we create this Discord entity, and it'll allow users that want to follow up with the same identity, right, a way to connect. And it'll also provide, because Discord has very, very good mobile support, then if people want to do it from their phones very easily, they just install the Discord app, right, hook it up, and they'll be able to
Well,
participate
I
in the
mean,
show
funny
that
you
way.
say that because Paul in the chat is saying the web app does not work well at all.
I've used the web app a lot. It works terrifically well. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Depends
just
what you want to do, right? But
yeah.
the web app works
And
very,
is it
very well in my mind.
and is the chat embeddable?
That's what I need to check.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it's not the Discord chat itself. It will need to have, there's the concept of bots, but I'm pretty sure there's a bot that can do that. And if not, we can write one. It's not that complex.
And Paul, you're saying
Uh,
that Teams is more secure than Zoom. I'm not going to disagree at
uh,
all. But for what we're doing here, that quote
yeah,
unquote
exactly.
security is not important. There's no This is not businesses talking about the way that they do things.
And Zoom today does end-to-end encryption anyway, so
Yeah,
it's
they
pretty
started
much the
doing.
same everywhere. They were very open before, but that's not the case anymore.
Yeah. So talking, well, boy, it's about time that we have to go. But AT&T has announced another, ready for that? Another round of price hike for Directv satellite and Uverse TV services, with monthly prices set to rise up to $9 starting January 17, 2021. Due to increased programming costs, we are adjusting the price of our video packages. That's what AT&T said. TV networks owners increase the fees they charge DirecTV for the right to broadcast their movies, shows, and sporting events. Of course, AT&T itself determines some of these programming prices because it owns Time Warner. So, yeah, even more reasons to cut the cord. Anyway. Anything else we need to talk about?
Turkey.
Turkey.
Are they making this year turkey with Wi-Fi?
Oh, it comes. It's got that new technology we were talking about at the beginning of the show. A locator chip is built into the turkey.
The turkey will
Internet of
make a
Things
round.
traction. Yep,
Will you be able to zoom to your turkey?
that's it.
And then you'll have a scratch and sniff.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. It was fun. Thanks, Spence. Thanks, Gal. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna, Dina, Arlet, and Micha. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And tonight, I know that Nick is doing the show, because he already told me. So it's 7 o'clock at atnshow.com. Nick is doing his Against the Norm show. The video will be available later on YouTube. And Tuesday night, Nick does Infection Podcast, which is a game-based podcast for survival games. So we'll see you next week. Have a happy Thanksgiving and stay safe.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.